I'm going to use myself as an example to explain to you how powerful the mind body connection is and how our memory is stored inside of our bodies. So, today I had a huge psychological release. There has been a deeply embedded, limiting narrative that I've lived with since I was a child. And in Kabbalah, this was my personal tikkun of self worth. Now, I have been trying to uncover the source of this for a long time. Sometimes these things are not ready to come up until we loosen them up. Um, and you can do that through dancing, affirmations, and things like that. But when we have fragmentation in the psyche, sometimes these parts of ourselves are very hard to reach. Now, this morning, I was in meditation and I was inquiring about what abundance meant and what it meant to be a match for it. And as I sat with being a match for that, I had a vision of a version of myself. And this has happened before, but this particular version of myself came to my awareness, and she was on an island by herself. And the word marooned kept coming up, and she really see behind her, and she couldn't understand that I was there to help her. And she kept looking to the horizon and then pacing back and forth. Now, when I was able to finally create safety to let her know that I was there, and I was like, "Who are you waiting for?" Because she kept looking to the horizon. And then I finally started cracking in to a moment in childhood where I accepted a narrative of aloneness, and that I was going to be performing in order to receive um, any reward, like my acceptance of hyper independence and acceptance of aloneness. And what I realized as I got into that memory, and more memories started flooding, and they got to a younger and younger age where I uncovered that I was left alone at a time where I wasn't prepared to be left alone. And while I would have, at the time, this was normal. This was like normal for us in the 90s. Y'all have to understand. Like, we as kids, like, if you had an older sibling, like, y'all babysat each other. And my sister and I fought a lot as kids. Now, if my parents decided to leave me home with my more older, responsible sister, and I didn't feel safe around her at the time, and then I felt like I was being abandoned and that I wasn't worthy of surviving because I didn't know how to survive on my own. See where I'm going with this? So, this part of my psyche had fragmented enough to where this started becoming the personal narrative as I got older. And eventually, this started intertwining with feeling rewarded through independence and a narrative and a belief system that my reward is being stuck on this island, and also my only reward is to receive more work, more performing, that I'm not rewarded because I'm inherently worth of being rewarded. It's only through what I do. And when this became present while I was meditating in this space, and I became aware of how it felt in my body. And I was able to at least let that version of me that was on this island have her look behind her. I tried to present her with a big, beautiful house, but she didn't believe it yet. So I gave her a fire and a tent. When I gave her something she could at least believe, because she told me she had grown up on that island, so she wasn't going to believe immediately that there was all this abundance behind her. That's there. That's I'm 36. She's been there since she was, probably 6 years old. 30 years on that island by herself, looking out in the horizon. But I gave her something believable in the moment to at least create safety. So that was a fire and a tent. So basic shelter and heat, right? And I knew she was exhausted. She was able to sit down. And that's when I felt my body releasing. I started feeling a tingling sensation all through my body because it felt like this exhaustion was starting to um, come forth in my body. And my body was starting to release. And then I noticed a shaking was starting to happen in my legs, and I let them shake. They had to shake out. That is a trauma response. That's what happens in nature. When, like something has been chased for a long time, we usually see this in the wild. Animals, they will go shake if they've survived being chased by a predator. They go shake the trauma out of their body. So I allowed my legs to sit there and shake out, because that part of me that had been stuck on that island has been scanning for danger and has been living in danger, not only psychologically, but physically as well. That part has been on in my body for 30 years. So I had to let it shake out. But that's a good sign, because that means safety is starting to redevelop in the body again. And now that I know that there's a part of me that's living there because of fragmentation, now I can go revisit that part of myself. And what I do is that I intend on spending time with her and helping her um, create an environment there that is safety, that's abundant. I'm going to help her um, show where she can build a dock and a port so she can receive help and assistance, and things can come to her island. She's going to have a house, birds, trees, all of that. Before, there was nothing behind her. It was like a blank nothingness behind her, and she was just pacing side to side and looking in the horizon. So, yes, like all is mind, but all is mind and body, because memory is stored in our body as well. We're made of water, and that is water is also memory. So all of these things are connected. This is why I talk so much about the importance of releasing the memory in the body. We can't just talk about it. We have to let the body release as well. So I hope that this gave you all some perspective today on what embodiment actually is, and how we can apply that to our own healing journey.